Hey, what's up, TruExperience Nation? I'm your boy, Richard McCaney, the man with the mission. People, if you're new around here, welcome. Thank you so much for tuning in. Our mission is simple, and it's to help you learn how to experience your best life as we're learning to do the same ourselves. Not experts, not gurus, but we are furthering our education. We're constantly reading books. We're constantly applying the techniques that we're learning. We're seeing great benefits from it. So as we do that, we want to share these nuggets with you. We're about wealth, health, and experiences. That's what we all about, baby. And today we are going to continue on in the book, Atomic Habits, written by James Clear. And today's interesting, man. Today's a good one because it talks directly about talent. So many times you hear people say they're naturally born talented in certain areas. That's the reason why they've been able to see success. And, when genes matter and when they don't matter. Some really good points we're going to make today. Now, the secret to maximizing your odds to success, man, relies on picking something that you're already naturally good at. Okay? Like it's picking the right game. The secret is to pick the things that speak to you directly so that when you're competing at this stuff, you tend to be more satisfactory. All right? The more satisfying it is, guess what? The more that behavior is going to be repeated. See, when habits align with your natural abilities, you're more likely to repeat those things. It's going to be fun. Example, Michael Phelps, swimmer, won a lot of gold medals. Motherfucker 6'4", got long torso, long arms, and shorter legs for his height. There was another guy who was an Olympic runner. Don't remember his name, it's not important. But he was shorter, he's like 5'6", but for his build, had a short torso, but long legs. His inseam at 5'6" is the same inseam as Michael Phelps, who was 6'4". Both of them built specifically for their desired sport. Okay, despite their work ethic and the energy and the effort they put in, if they were to swap, Michael Phelps probably wouldn't be able to compete running long distance the same way this other guy was. And vice versa. See, they picked things and got joy out of things that they were already naturally good at. Here's a point I want to make that's important is that genes don't determine your destiny, but they do, however, help point out opportunities. See, this is why we go at length to talk about how important self-awareness is. Knowing how you operate, knowing what brings you joy, knowing what it is that you want, so that you can identify the opportunities that you're looking for, man. Part of experiencing your life is having fun and doing things you're naturally already good at, enhancing those things. So that's why I don't want to give you the blueprint I use. It ain't gonna do you no good. You're not me. That's why we're here to try to give you the tools to build your own blueprint. And this is a great place for y'all to understand and grasp that when it comes to the genes and the talents and making sure that things are in line with what it is you like to do. There is, and this is very important, there is a version of every habit that will bring you joy and happiness. That's going to bring you satisfaction. Find it. You remember we talked about before that, habits, man, they're things that they help solve problems. And that just because it's a way you've already been doing things or because it's the way somebody else does, doesn't mean it's the only way to get those same results. We talked about how smoking helps relieve stress. Well, so does running. So does playing video games. So does reading. There's a lot of other things you could put in that aren't bad habits, but that are good to help you become the person you want to become while still relieving that problem. See, that's the point of finding a version of a habit. Let's take working out for instance. Talked about it before. Let's talk about it again. Let's say when you're going to the gym, guess what? You want to be active. Dude, you can get steps. You can run a marathon. You can get on an elliptical. You might want to be on a treadmill and not be outside. You might like to row where other people might want to walk. You might want to be on an exercise bike instead of an elliptical. See, there's a version of that naturally speaks to you that you might actually find joy and pleasure out of. Find it, do it, and then you can develop those habits. Let's talk about how to find the right game. Okay, it's important to find the right habits, find the right game. What does that look like? What does that mean? See, things that come easily to you, you're going to naturally want to do more of, and you're going to find pleasure in. Why? Because if it's easy for you, you'll continue to do it. You'll continue to see progress. You will get praise for that. That makes it more satisfying. That's your reward. You'll repeat the behavior. So let's find things that's easy for you to do. If you pick the right habit, progress is easy. If you pick the wrong habit, life is a struggle. We ain't about that struggle, man. We don't want it to be a struggle. We want it to seem easy. So here's some questions, and I do want to read these questions off. I'm going to read all the questions that you can ask yourself. This is going to help bring some self-awareness from you. Take some time. Answer these questions for yourself so you can help put you on the right direction, the right path that speaks directly to you. 1, here's a good question to ask yourself. What feels like fun to me, but work to other people? What makes me lose track of time? That you be so zoned in and so into focus that you're just kind of like, oh my goodness, I looked up and it's done. It's hard to find something that you can really get in a flow where time goes away that you don't enjoy. You know what I'm saying? Where do I get greater return than the average person? And just kind of what comes naturally to me. These are all questions that kind of get your brain thinking. I'll give you an example for me personally. I get joy out of creating content. I like being on video and I like making videos. I like traveling and recording it. That excites me. The thought of being, that's why I've tried to do so many podcasts. That's why I've done YouTube. I naturally gravitate that way because it's fun for me and I'm naturally gifted in that arena. I'm better at that than I am at writing. Still need to get a message out. How the message is delivered doesn't really matter, but I've just picked the format that's best to me, the one that I enjoy anyway. Whether y'all think I'm good or not is subjective. I enjoy it. And so when I was asking myself these questions, I was like, man, you know what? I was so caught up in techniques. I was so caught up in trying to do exactly what other people were doing where they saw success, but it just didn't feel right. Like something about it, like I was trying to force it. I didn't find joy in it. It felt too much like work. I did not experience pleasure in doing it the exact same way other people did. I could still get the same results, but I had to do it in a way that spoke to me, that lent to my abilities. So I'm energetic. I like being entertaining. I like doing Facebook Live. That seems like work for a lot of people. For some people to go in here and just pop up a Facebook Live and talk, that seems like a lot of work. That seems like, don't want no part of it. For me, it's not. Well, that same person, they might love writing. They might be great at writing, and that's their delivered method. They might like pictures. They don't deliver their message via pictures. Maybe they've got the golden voice and they want to do a podcast and, they're so natural. They don't want to be on camera, but they can talk. They're intelligent. They, speak clearly and a podcast speaks to them. So there's multiple ways to get this message out that speaks to your personalities and your genes and your talents and your abilities. Find it, use it, operate on it. Ask yourself these questions. What motherfreaking excites you? There was a section in this book that I really liked. It's like, a good player plays hard or trains hard to win the game everybody else is playing. A great player changes the game to fit their abilities and avoid their weaknesses. The example they gave I thought was awesome. There's a guy in here who was a comedic author. And he wasn't funny enough, right? Like he wasn't like the funniest person on the planet to where he could compete at the same level as pure comics. Just stand alone on his comic material, but he was funny. He could also draw really well, but not good enough to be a top-notch artist. Combine the two, now he's an artist that can draw really well and he's funny. So you see how you combine those two, combining those skills? That's very unique for that person. That's not something that's easily duplicatable for a lot of people. A lot of people might be funny, but can't draw. A lot of people might be able to draw, but not funny. He was good enough at both to combine the two, which separate him. Motherfucker completed his own game. This also helps with comparing yourself to other people because ain't nobody else doing that. He also had a knack for business, so you throw that in there and, you know, he was on to be successful doing whatever it is he wanted to do, doing that thing. I was fascinated by that. Guys, pick other skills that you have and put them together and do your own thing. Forget what other people are doing. Ask yourself, if there was no judgment, if you wasn't trying to fit into a mold, if you wasn't trying to live up to somebody else's expectations, and it was just you, what you wanted to do, what excited you, what would you do? That's going to put you on the track. That is going to guide you. That's going to be your North Star to be like, hey, you know what? Let me start thinking about things along that way. We want to pick something that is called explore and exploit when it comes to picking some of these things. Explore means cast a broad net. Exploring's fun. Cast a broad net. Try a little bit of a lot of things. Find out what gets you results. Find out what moves the needle and is getting you progress, and then kind of hone in on that. Exploit that thing. And so spend 80% to 90% of your time exploiting that thing that you found that fits you, and then use your other 10 to 20% exploring some more. That's how you fine test and tune. That's what split testing is when it comes to business. I'm going to run this. I'm going to run this. I got better results with this. So let me go ahead and focus on that. Now let me continue exploring, and I can keep tweaking and changing that. That's how you do it in the long run. So back to our example of working out, our diets. Cast a broad net, man. I don't listen to people and what they do. I can't stand when people tell me exactly what I need to do when it comes to techniques. Teach me principles and let me decide what techniques I want to implement. See, when somebody comes to me and says, you got to be a vegetarian, or you got to be a vegan, or you need to just eat meat, or keto's the best diet on the planet, everybody should do it. False. Bull crap. Bull badonk. I'm not buying that. Maybe that's best for you, but nobody knows if it's best for me. Motherfucker, I might want to eat some bread. Newsflash. Some people out there, they're in great shape, they're super healthy, everything's great, and they eat bread. And the same can be true on the other end of that spectrum. Give me the principles, let me decide the techniques. See, when you're exploring, and it goes back to, well, let me try this diet or that diet, or let me see if this works for me. Does that fit with my lifestyle? Am I seeing results and progress? Is this fitting for me? Do I like the treadmill or do I like the exercise bike? Don't know until I try. Spend a week playing around with different stuff, and when you start getting the progress or the results or something that's a little bit more fun for you, say, yeah, this is my deal. This is what I prefer to do, and then rock that exercise bike 80 to 90% of the time, and then maybe once a week explore with something else. That way you're still getting progress, but you're constantly finding ways that you might be able to improve or something you like better. Another thing I want y'all to understand is just so many people focus on their limits that they don't even bother playing the game. See, so many people worried about, well, I can't be as good as such and such at this level, so I'm not even going to try. Motherfucker, if you got a ceiling or you got your limits, so many people don't even work to hit their own limits. Hit your limits. See, just because I might not be able to write as good as somebody else doesn't mean I'm never going to write. See, I'm focused on what's getting me results now that I like, and then I will do some writing. But just because I can't compete at the same level as somebody else doesn't mean I'm not going to play to reach my personal full potential in that arena. Stop being scared to play the game just because somebody might be better. Does that make sense, man? I hope that does. When I read that, it made sense, man. When folks was like, just because you have a limit doesn't mean you shouldn't work to hit it. I want y'all to do that. So let's talk about how to get the most out of your genes. Important thing to note. The genes do not eliminate the necessity for hard work. Until you work as hard as the person you're admiring, don't write off their success as easy or luck, more or less. Don't write off as luck. They got lucky. Until you're willing to put in the same amount of effort or work that they did, you don't have no right to say that. Just because you're naturally gifted at something doesn't mean you don't need to flex that muscle on a consistent basis to continue to improve and get the results and progress that you're looking for. There's a lot of wasted potential out there, man. Don't let it lull you to sleep to think just because you're good at something doesn't mean you don't have to work for it. And to write off the summary, and I want to read this to wrap everything up. In summary, one of the best ways to ensure that your habits remain satisfying over the long term is to pick behaviors that align with your personality and your skills. Work hard on the things that come easy. Guys, if y'all do that, you'll be a lot happier. You'll see the progress that you want. You'll beat by the tune of your own drum. And it will free you from comparing yourself to other people and taking away your joy because you think you may not be as good as they are in a certain area. I hope y'all like that, man. I hope y'all got some value out of this one. If you did, and you like this kind of stuff, we go live every day. We'll be live tomorrow. Let's see, what we talk about tomorrow? The Goldilocks rule, how to stay motivated in life and in work. So this is one of the advanced topics, and we'll be covering that tomorrow. Make sure to hit the notification bell on this to get notified when I go live. Like the page, if you're on YouTube, hit the subscribe button. We'll be dropping a video every day. I do go live on my Facebook page every day, and then it ends up on YouTube, which is not every day. Just depends. I travel a lot. And so, yeah, comment below. Let me know what you think. Let me know if you found something that excites you. Let me know what's an area that brings you joy, that you like, that you want to continue to pursue. Guys, thank you so much for watching. I hope you have a wonderful day. And until tomorrow, I'm out.